I heard voices in my house at night. My family laughed at me. But when the power went out at 3:17 a.m., something called my name, everyone heard it. It started with a whisper, not a dream, not my imagination, a real voice calling my name. In the dark, the first night it happened, I woke up suddenly, like someone had shaken me from the inside. My eyes snapped open, and I knew immediately something was wrong. The digital clock beside my bed glowed faint red. 3:17 a.m. The room was completely silent, yet the air felt heavy, thick like it was pressing down on my chest. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe properly. That strange feeling you get when you know you're not alone, even though you can't see anyone. Then I heard it. Come here. The voice was quiet, almost gentle. It didn't sound angry or threatening. In fact, it sounded calm, familiar, like someone I should recognize, but couldn't quite remember. My heart started pounding so hard I was sure it would wake the entire house. I slowly sat up in bed, scanning the corners of my room. The door was closed. The window was locked. Shadows stretched across the walls. Twisting into shapes that made my stomach turn, I grabbed my phone with shaking hands, thinking maybe I had fallen asleep with a video playing. Maybe a notification went off. Maybe anything else besides what I was thinking. The screen was dark, no videos, no sound, no missed calls. The house was completely quiet. Everyone else was asleep. I stayed frozen for what felt like forever, listening, waiting, but nothing happened. No footsteps, no movement, just silence. Eventually, I laughed softly to myself, trying to convince my brain that I was being stupid, that it was just a half-dream, that fear was playing tricks on me. I lay back down and forced my eyes closed. Sleep came slowly. The next night I woke up again. Same time, 3:17 a.m. This time, the voice didn't whisper. It spoke. Clearer. Closer. Come here. My blood ran cold. The sound didn't come from the doorway. Didn't come from outside. It came from the walls. I could feel it vibrating through the room. It's like the house itself was speaking. I pressed my ear against the wall, my hands trembling, my breath shallow. That's when I realized something that made my stomach drop. The voice wasn't calling me from somewhere else. It was already inside the house. After the third night, keep it to myself anymore. I hadn't slept properly in days. My eyes burned, my head felt heavy, and every small sound made me jump. That morning, I sat at the breakfast table, gripping my cup so tightly my fingers hurt. My hands were shaking, and I didn't even notice the tea going cold. I took a deep breath and said it. I keep hearing voices at night. The words felt strange. Leaving my mouth like saying them out loud made everything more real. For a moment, no one spoke. Then my brother burst out laughing, so suddenly he almost spilled his tea across the table. Nice joke, he said. Trying to scare us before work? My mother smiled gently, the kind of smile adults give when they think you're being dramatic. She shook her head and said, You watch too many scary videos before bed. Your mind is playing tricks on you. My father didn't even look up from his phone. He just sighed and said, Get more sleep. That was it. No concern, no questions, no belief. They all thought it was a joke. I wanted to argue, wanted to scream that this wasn't a dream, that I wasn't imagining things. But the words got stuck in my throat. How could I explain something that didn't make sense even to me? So I stayed quiet. But deep down I knew the truth. The voice wasn't random. It didn't speak every night, didn't speak to everyone. It spoke only to me. It said my name the same way my mother did when she wanted my attention. The same tone, the same rhythm, and worse. It knew things I had never told anyone. One night, when I lay awake staring at the ceiling, the voice returned. It was softer this time, closer to my ear, like it was standing right beside my bed. You shouldn't have gone into that room. My entire body went cold. I sat up so fast, my head started spinning. My heart felt like it was trying to break out of my chest. My mouth went dry, and for a moment I couldn't even breathe. That room. There was a room in the house no one used anymore. Small room at the end of the hallway. always locked, always ignored. My parents never talked about it. Whenever I asked, they changed the subject. I had gone inside it once. Just once. The lock had been loose. The air inside was colder than the rest of the house. Empty, except for the feeling that I wasn't welcome there. No one knew I had been inside. No. One could have known, except whatever was whispering to me in the dark. And that's when I realized something terrifying. The voice wasn't guessing. It was watching. The whispers didn't stop. They multiplied at first. It was just one voice, low and steady, always speaking slowly, always calm. But after that night after it mentioned the room, everything changed. Some nights the voice sounded closer than my own breath. Other nights it sounded far away, like it was echoing through long, empty hallways that didn't exist in our house. And then there were nights when it wasn't just one voice anymore. I would lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening as the sounds split into many voices talking over each other, arguing, crying, laughing, some whispered words I couldn't understand. Others repeated my name again and again, faster each time. It felt like my head was filling up with noise. Sleep became impossible, even when my eyes were closed. My mind stayed awake, waiting. Every small sound, the ticking clock, the hum of the fan made my heart jump. I started sleeping with the light on, then with the door open. But it didn't help. The voices didn't care. I began to wonder if I was losing my mind. Asterisk. So I decided to prove I'd Wesson. Every night before going to bed, I placed my phone beside my pillow and turned on the voice recorder. I told myself that if the voices were real, they would be captured. That in the morning, I would finally have proof. Something to show my family. Something to make them believe me. Each morning, I checked. The recordings with shaking hands, the files were there. Long recordings. Hours of audio, but when I pressed play, there was nothing. Sometimes there was faint static, like wind brushing against a microphone. Other times there was only silence. Perfect, empty silence, as if nothing had happened at all. No whispers. No voices. No proof. That scared me more than hearing them. Then one night something changed. I was lying awake, staring into the darkness, when I heard a sound that didn't come from the walls. Footsteps, slow, heavy, deliberate. They moved down the hallway, each step spaced apart, like whoever was walking wanted to be heard. My body went stiff. I couldn't even turn my head. The footsteps stopped right outside my door. I listened as the handle slowly turned. The door didn't open, but the voice spoke clear, deep and louder than ever before. We're not just talking to you anymore. In that moment, I realized the whispers had never been meant to stay hidden. They were getting ready to be heard. That night, everything broke. I wasn't asleep when it happened. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, counting my breaths, waiting for the whispers to return. The house felt wrong, too quiet, like it was holding its breath. Then, at exactly 3:17 a.m., the power went out. The fan died mid-spin. The clock beside my bed went dark. In 1 second, the entire house was swallowed by darkness so complete it felt physical, like a heavy blanket dropped over my face. Before I could even sit up, it happened. From the hallway came a scream, not a whisper. It's not a voice in my head. A scream, loud, sharp, and violent, calling my name. The sound tore through the house like glass breaking. My mother screamed from her room. I heard my father shout my name as he ran into the hallway. My brother stumbled out of his room, his face pale, his body shaking so badly he had to grab the wall to stay standing. They heard it. They all heard it. The voice echoed through the house, bouncing off the walls, crawling through every room at once. Didn't come from one place anymore. It came from everywhere above us, around us, inside us. Then it laughed, a deep, hollow laugh that didn't sound human. It stretched on too long, echoing again and again, like it was enjoying our fear. The sound made my stomach twist and my chest tighten. My legs felt weak, like they might give out at any moment. My mother grabbed my arm with both hands, her nails digging into my skin. Her voice shook as she whispered, "What is that?" I opened my mouth to answer, but before I could say a word, the voice cut through the darkness again. "You should have listened to him." The words were clear, calm, certain. Every head in the hallway slowly turned toward the end of the corridor, the unused room. The door shook violently, rattling in its frame. Then, with a sound like thunder, it slammed open by itself, crashing against the wall. A rush of freezing air poured out, so cold it burned my skin. The darkness inside the room was deeper than the rest of the house, thicker. Darker, wrong. Something moved inside. Not fast. Not slow, just enough to let us know it was there. A shape shifted in the shadows, stretching and pulling itself forward, as if it was waking up after a long sleep. The laughter stopped. The silence that followed was worse. No one screamed. No one ran. We stood there together, frozen. Finally understanding the truth, the voices hadn't been trying to scare me. They had been preparing us. We never talk about that night. Not at breakfast. Not before bed. Not even in whispers. The house looks the same, but it doesn't feel the same anymore. Every hallway feels longer. Every shadow feels heavier. The unused room at the end of the corridor is locked now, the key hidden somewhere. No one will admit to knowing. No one walks past it unless they have to. No one stands too close to that door, and no one laughs when I mention the voices. My family avoids the topic like it doesn't exist, but I see it in their eyes. It's the way my mother pauses before turning off the lights. The way my father double-checks the locks every night. The way my brother refuses to sleep without music playing. Even though he used to mock me for doing the same, they remembered we all do. Life slowly returned to something that looked normal on the outside. We go to work, we eat together, watch TV and pretend everything is fine. But the nights are different now. At night the house listens. Sometimes late at night when everyone is asleep and the world feels empty. I hear them again, not whispering, waiting. The voices don't rush anymore. They don't scream or laugh. They simply exist, low, steady, patient, like something that knows it has all the time in the world. They call my name softly, stretching the sound, letting it hang in the air. I don't answer. I never answer. I lie still, staring into the darkness, feeling the same heavy pressure in the air that woke me up that first night and now. I'm not the only one who hears it. Sometimes my mother sits up in bed suddenly, asking if I called her. Sometimes my father stands in the hallway at night, listening, his face tight and pale. Once, I caught my brother staring at the locked door, his lips moving as if repeating something he'd just heard. When the voices call my name now, my family hears it too. No one asks questions anymore. No one denies it because deep down, we all understand the truth. Whatever lives in that room was never trying to scare me. It was trying to warn us about what happens when doors are open that should have stayed closed. About things that don't belong to our world but can still reach into it. About how some houses don't just hold memories. They hold something else. And sometimes late at night, when the house is silent and the air grows heavy, I wonder if the voices were warning us. What were they trying to warn us about? And how long before it stops waiting? Lock your doors. Turn off the lights. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe and stay awake tonight.